And thanks for tuning. So today we keep going with our infrastructure course, and I will remind you that you have a full syllabus of a course in SlideShare. You see the address right now here. Last time we have been talking about Service Mesh, VPC, and SD-WAN. We are finally at A/B testing and security. So right now this lesson is going to be focused on A/B testing. Now, what is A/B testing? So if you are looking into the definition from a technical perspective of A/B testing, there are various names, but in summary, you are having a load balancer. The load balancer will decide based on certain conditional policies on where to go. The percentage can be also about a 50-50 split, where you randomly serve 50% of the traffic with a new version. This system is used to try to push new changes for the web development and testing live, having always the other version randomly available. So like that, you act on the load balancer, you decide where to point your users to, and A/B testing is quite common in deployment. So nowadays, whatever cloud service provider give you way of doing A/B testing, it's going to be more and more used. AWS, for example, he changed the case study into occasional A/B testing, frequent A/B testing, and advanced A/B testing, where you actually use some logic way more advanced on where to send over the users. Now, this is just a standard de facto into testing, and is a new approach to that, because instead of using just the testing environment, you are using real redirection of your users. One of the main concepts of A/B testing is for sure to have a load balancer. That load balancer doesn't have to be into your estate. It can be a front-facing, like in Fastly, a CDN, Cloudflare, or whatever you have, Akamai, where you describe how this traffic can get redirected. Now, it was a really interesting talk that I remember seeing old-timer in 2016 about A/B testing. So refer to this link, because it's extremely interesting. Is talking about a newspaper that decided the headline of the article based on certain criteria, and it get exploited to always serve the favorite article. This one is quite actual if you think about how AI is anyway more and more often creating this content, and there is an entire series written by the author on Medium, where he describes step by step all critical aspects, and so you can find it here on Medium, exploiting A/B testing for fun and profit. Now, if I add my own experience, A/B testing means also introduce new security issue into the new testing. Plus, you should always have a web application firewall protecting your environment. Now, the issue that you are having is that WAF doesn't get tuned and just use an OWASP top 10 kind of definition of file, and is never tailored ad hoc for the web service behind. So this one is something where you should create into the A/B testing pipeline a WAF monitoring, and it shouldn't be just at the time that you deploy the load balancer forward, because if not, you'll expose your web service. So it has to be clear that in the testing you need to tune for the new version and have a clear understanding of how each web application are different and how to protect them. Now, WAF tuning is a big topic on itself, but A/B testing and this agility between forwarding traffic create a lot of problem when you are anyway exploring and trying to understand what happened during an incident. So what is happening could be that you are having certain servers that get compromised and others no, and the main reason is a different versioning, for example, of a two web application. Now, it's always important when you use the load balancer, whatever load balancing you use, to have some reference on the header or in the cookie that let you to understand the versioning that you are using. That is my suggestion, especially when you review WAF log. It will drive you nuts to understand which version was served by the logs that you are examining. So don't focus on A/B testing only from a load perspective in terms of where you send the traffic. Be sure that the security controls are aligned for the web service that you want to serve, and be 100% sure to have a reference to always be capable to investigate something, understanding which version. So when you are talking about LTM or any load balancer on-prem, you are having some pointers that you can use to identify the persistence and which server replied. Now we are in a world where the complexity can be done because behind you have different Kubernetes cluster or something else. So cookie is always a good trick too if you want to add a sort of encoded version of what is served. Another issue that you are having is the persistence. At the time that you are defining A/B testing, you need to remember that you can't maintain the persistence. Think about an e-commerce. You are having two versions of an e-commerce website. You want, in case of a fall of one of the backend web service, be capable to reconnect to a new one and be 100% sure that the basket and what the customer ordered is still there. It's not disappearing. To do that, you use persistence techniques that are generally at session level with a cookie, and not just with a cookie, with a session ID, and you'll be capable to have this seamless move to a new server that is taking over, because obviously it's syncing the sessions. In A/B testing, you can't do that across two different backend call, and you need to think about this problem also security-wise if it is relevant to you. Because at the time that you are investigating an incident or something goes down, you should have redundancy for the same type of resource. If by mistake you are having an attacker and something goes wrong with the backend and it gets served another completely different version, when you are trying to rebuild the incident and what happened, for example, checking those IP pools that are poking you, you should be capable to understand if there was also a failover. CDN, from my experience, from a terms of forensics, are really difficult in terms of logs. The verbosity is high. You do have tons of logs. The volume is massive. The normalization of the logs and the fact that you import somewhere, it's really difficult. Now, the suggestion is try to track everything in terms of policy, where you redirect what, and try to see if you have a reverse proxy functionality like an NGX on-prem to look and monitor together with the backend. Correlation at that level could be easier. that doesn't mean that the CDN isn't important, but that you need to consider. Another issue that I saw in A/B testing more than once is you are creating policy more thinking about testing, A/B testing in terms of UI testing and other stuff, and you don't think about filter of countries. In some e-commerce or whatever, you could have policies, for example, on which countries you want to serve. It's not mandatory, but is a potential. At the time that you do A/B testing, you can find that some of these policy are not having the precedence, for example, in your CDN. So whenever you do forwarding policy, trying to remember that unfortunately you are still in an environment that where first match take the priority. So if just one policy get matched, get redirected, bypassing the other. So the order of a policy is extremely important. Be 100% sure to look into that, okay? So summarizing, focus on having the same security control against each version that you run. Be 100% sure that, for example, the web application firewall is solid before to go in A/B testing for the new version. Trying to be 100% sure that the session, the failover is considered, that you keep the persistence, think on how you reconstruct the logs for understanding what is happening in terms of incident, and consider, for example, this talk about the exploitation A/B testing is still valid, even if it was a talk in 2016. I think it is even more valid right now, because A/B testing is a standard de facto. At the very beginning wasn't, and I suppose the fact that we have so much AI involved on generating content is most of the time A/B tested as well. So there are tons of policy, and you can, for example, play with those also with which type of device you are using. The same practice that you do when you pen test. When you pen test something, you want to try different device, different HTTP referrer, like that. You could trying to exploit some different behavior, some policies. Okay, I hope it was interesting for you. Keep up, subscribe. You'll be notified when new content is released. This is an effort on my side to give a free infrastructure course. We have been going through already almost 2 chapters, and it will be a continuous effort for me to release all these for free. So please subscribe, comment, and let me know what you think. Okay? Thanks a lot for your time. Have a good day. Talk to you soon.